Hi guys, it's Relene again. Welcome back to my channel. In this video today, I would like to talk to you guys something completely different, but I thought it'd be useful to share our experience when we get our garden done and the lesson that we have had from there and how it's saved us so much money instead of being ripped off by the landscaper when we decided to do our garden in the summer when it's a peak time. So I hope you find it useful. If you have watched my previous video, you know that Tristan and I have bought our first house in September 2020, and it was a new build with a buried garden because we have spent all our saving into our deposit and legal fees and all the associated fees when we decided to get our house in September 20. So unfortunately we couldn't afford to get our garden done, and we put it off for a while until one day we decided that we had enough and we wanted to host a nice barbecue to get friends and family to come around. So we sent a lot of quotes around to different landscapers to see what the total budget will be so we can start saving. So the quote came back as ridiculously amount. I don't know where they pulled the figures from, but it's just like a random number out of nowhere, because we've asked our neighbor who have had their garden done as soon as they moved in, and it's come to a price of around £3,000 to £4,000. But when we asked the landscaper, so we find some local trader people online, and the quote that they're giving to us was within 5k to 10k, and there's no way we can save that significant amount within a short period of time. So we thought, okay, well, what are the options that we can do? We can do it ourselves, you know, trading our labor so we don't have to pay it all. We decided to get it done ourselves with the help of our friends. When the process was complete, when the planets came to around 3,500, which is significantly cheaper than what we would have paid if we had somebody that come over to get it done professionally. And if you can see from the picture, there's so like the project that with the imagine the visualization that we had on our head is no different to what we actually managed to project our vision, and we managed to save so much more. Reflect on that and all the lessons that I've gathered from there, and I thought, why don't I just share it out here? So if you are going through the same process, if you had managed to purchase a new build and you would like to get your garden done, get ready for summer 2022, and if you have bought a new build, you would know that the garden, they literally just left it how it is, and it's a blank canvas that you can create whatever projects that you would like. You can make it as fancy or as simple as you like, depends on the time, the budget that you've got. But I would suggest you to shop around and start the project as soon as possible, because so that clay soil doesn't get compacted so early, so soon after the winter. Yeah, it's not complicated at all, because literally it's not like you have to dig anything in, or be really straightforward. And if you have a lot of time in the winter, then maybe that's the best time to get it done, because that tends to be the time when not many things happen. Then there will be more landscape available, then the cost of them will be much cheaper than in the summer when everyone decided to get their garden done. And even with the materials as well, it will be more difficult to obtain them in the summer. For us, when we decided to get our garden done, it was summer of lockdown, and everybody decided to get their renovate or redone their garden, so it was really difficult for us to obtain, and everything was out of stock point. But for us, we was not in a rush, so we had enough time to get all the materials that come in. But if you have people that come around, obviously it will be more costly. If you just leave it to them to do everything from scratch, then they will know where they can obtain all the materials from, which will be more expensive of course. But if you decided to do it yourself, then think in advance and knowing that the material can be out of stocks for some time, and you know, if you haven't got them ready, then you would have to wait a lot longer. Then the process of getting done will be much longer. The total cost will be broken down into the material and labor cost. I'm going to tell you the individual price of each item and what we've done to cut down the cost. Number one, it was skip. Actually, we wasn't organized enough, and we didn't think that there was such demand to get the skip hire, and there was actually a different price if you would have them hire from a council compared to a private company. When we tried to get in touch with our local council, because they was fully booked, although it can only cost us £150 if we would have had them done from local council. There wasn't any options available for us within a month, so we decided to buy our tongue and get the expensive one, which eventually cost us £230. Second is slab, which is very interesting. When we move into our new build, Redrow actually did some of the slabs. There's a few rows that readily available there. The majority of our neighbor would have the existing slab removed and get brand new the same one, and luckily for us, so there was builders still building at the back of our house, so we're trying to get in touch with them to see if they can recommend to us where would we look if we would want to buy the same slab that Redrow was using. They were happy to sell us with their wholesale price. That's why we could manage to get them at £210. It was really cheap for us. But if you decided to move the existing one, please take into consideration the labor cost that you would have to pay for to get your existing slab removed. Cost number 3 is timber. So in timber we use it here because we can just drive in there to choose whatever size we would want and what the quantity we would require. They would get them delivered the next day. Gravel, we also get them from Howard Timber, which is much cheaper at the fraction price of what we would have to pay for should we get them from garden center. The other cost that we had to pay for was the Pod Creek, which is a fat setting cement to hold the post in the ground, and it worked very well because it's dry really quickly. We needed 5 bags, which cost us £30. And what was unique about that was, again, we get to drive through into the store and we just point down what you like, and then they would load it for you at the back of the car and you drive home. Another cost that you need to take into consideration would be cement. We needed to go patio slab to lay out the whole patio slab. We also need 1 ton of sub base and 1 ton of sand, which cost us £77 from a merchandise in Manchester. When we bought our first lot, it was much cheaper, and then because we did some miscalculations and we actually needed another ton, which actually this was only a few months later, and the price have skyrocketed due to the demand. We have to buy our tongue and get it order. Other thing that would be required will be you need to hire a petrol compactor, so you need to compact the sub base and the sand before you lay the patio, and because we did it in 2 goes, we had to hire the petrol compactor twice, and it cost us £150 for both. The other cost associated with the garden was the turf. We actually posted on our local Facebook group within our neighbour to see if they could give us some recommendation where to get turf from, and we found a local independent landscaper who was very familiar with the area and the type of ground that we were working with. He knows the ground that we are in is actually full of clay. He gave us the advice how to lay the turf. He actually even recommended us to do it ourselves because our garden actually is square and it's really easy to lay them. It's not like we need to do any cutting. He was actually really honest to say that if we them done by him, it would cost us triple the price. So we thought, okay, fine, we can just get it done ourselves, and we can actually watch some tutorial online to get them done. The most expensive cost was labeling cost. Luckily we had he's like a handyman that know everything about all the DIY job, all the gardening job. Actually he had to drive an hour away to come to our house, and we was willing to pay petrol as well. So that was labor and petrol costs for the total of £1,200. And the final cost that we had to pay for was the plant and the flower, which cost us £800 altogether. I know it's crazy. Actually £800 includes the bay tree at the front of the house as well, and that's why it went up. That all sort of beautiful plants, and I couldn't help it but buying it. And again, they are perennials anyway, so finger crossed they will come back this summer. We, Tristan and I, decided to get it done ourselves, and it was the best decision I've ever had. We had so much fun searching around, get our hand dirty, digging all that clay soils in our garden, and we actually have a lot of help from my family that come in to dig the garden, and you can see the process, how it's going through. And yes, I thought, you know, if you had a lot of time, spare time, if you have a week or two of summer holiday and you're not going abroad, then let's get this project started. And I hope you have fun. I hope you learn from the video. That's all for me today. If you find the video useful, why not give me a thumbs up? If you are new to my channel, why not subscribe to my channel, in which I can share with you guys the learning that I've got. Hopefully, as I have more time at home, I will do a house tour into, you know, what process that we've done into our house and how we decorate our house in our minimalism approach. Thank you for listening. I look forward to see you again very soon. Take care and goodbye.